on him, just in front of 11. That's John Crawford, and I'd say Plater, just look at the eyes on him. He's determined, isn't he?
Yeah, Plater, he's ahead of his old rival Crawford, so he wants to stay that way as well.
I tell you what, keep an eye out. We're looking for John Reynolds. Reynolds is miles away. We're looking from Steve Plater's bike now on the replay, and really everyone looking for that dry line. Where is it?
Reynolds
Reynolds is going backwards. Yeah, Reynolds is on the wet stuff, and he's just gone backwards. Can't get the drive, and I tell you, it's a brave man that tips it in when it's that wet.
Yeah, the different track surfaces are drying up at a different sort of speed, and I don't envy any of these riders. As we saw in the first race, it's difficult to pass at the best of times, let alone when there's only a 6-inch wide dry line.
Well, this is where, of course, Mackenzie fell off on the warm-up lap there through. There's Reynolds. Reynolds just in front of Sean Emmett there on bike number 6 of Travis Perkins Honda. They're down towards Barn Corner now. There goes Crawford, goes through on 11. 3 is Reynolds, 6 is, of course, Emmett, and then 96 is Paul Young.
That section of the track, the mountain section of the track, has got overhanging trees, so it takes a long time to dry up. I've ridden in these conditions at this circuit, and you arrive up there, you've got hot tyres, and all of a sudden it's damp and slippy. There's
the top 6 at the end of lap 1, but Chris Walker, well, we saw what he was like at Knockhill in the rain. He was absolutely awesome. No one was in his class there. One or two people might be able to equal it in the dry, but Chris Walker at Knockhill in the wet was something to behold. So through Chris Curve we go now. Walker easing away at the front of this field from Hodgson in 2nd place. This is where it's completely dry around here. It's Hayden in 3rd place. 4th is still Plater. There is John Crawford on bike number 11. He is in 5th place at the moment. Looking back up the track, here is Reynolds in 6th, and a lot of work to do from him. So Reynolds now getting a wick wound up, but has he got a lot of work to do? He will be so angry. Such a nice guy off track, but I tell you what, I've never met a harder guy on it.
Yeah, he's lost a massive amount of time in just a few moments there at the beginning of the race.
We heard him say at the end of the first race that he couldn't give 30 yards away. I reckon he's given 300 away at the start of this race. There is Hodgson in 2nd place. Oh, great pictures there. And we can just see it's starting to dry down towards Barn. Look at the difference there. Whoa, dear me, I wouldn't want to ride on that. It'd be like riding along a plank 6 inches wide.
Yeah, and that series of corners up there is certainly not the safest you'll ever find.
No, that's for certain. So then, up into Coppice. This track is drying out by every minute. The sun has come back out now. Well, we had a bit of a thunderstorm earlier on, and the track, I would have suggested it might have been a good idea just to hold the race for 10 minutes so the track dried a bit more. Certainly would have made it a bit safer. At the end of lap 2, Walker, Hodgson, Hayden, Plater, Crawford and Reynolds in 6th place, but he's got 6.2 seconds there on the leader. 6.2 seconds is the deficit back to 6th place man John Reynolds. That is a lot to make up in a Superbike race.
Yeah, not only that, he's got an awful lot of people to get past before he can get up to these front runners, and they're certainly not slow people. He's going to have to muscle his way by.
So the National Tyre Suzuki of Chris Walker leads the INS Ducati of Neil Hodgson. It's the usual suspects, 1 and 2. Down through the goosenet towards Mansell.
Really quick to the top there. You saw him really physically muscling the bike around.
Sideways on the brakes down into that left-hander at Mansfield as well.
He's obviously decided he really wants to make a push to catch up that little bit of a gap that Walker's made on him.
So then, at the bottom of the mountain, as the track dries out and the line gets wider and wider here. Oh, I tell you what, Hodgson looks like a desperate man.
Did his foot start to slip off the foot peg there?
Well, we'll have to take another look at that in a moment, because it certainly looked pretty bad to me. Let's have a look now. So, through the left. As he changed his direction, he must have done, because he really got himself in a mess there.
Yeah, so you can't believe how much pressure you put through your foot pegs when you're trying to make the bike change direction. It's a very quick flip from one way to the other there, and his foot just fell off.
Hayden in 3rd place on bike number 5. 22 is Plater, and did I just see Crawford get himself in a bit of a mess there in the background?
Exciting moment there.
So we're looking from Steve Plater now towards the man himself in front. That's Hayden in front of him, and I think John Crawford went off the track there at that corner, Coppice. So up towards Park Corner now. Into the braking area.
And this is where Hayden slipped off in the first race.
Yeah.
You can see just how fast it is into that corner.
Big black line from the rear end as he tipped in there as well. So Hayden in front of us as we go through Chris Curve, accelerating up through the 4th gear now. Then it changes the transition from being on the power to on the brakes while it's still cranked over for this set of corners, the gooseneck. Flop left, power back on again, down the hill, back 1 gear into 2nd gear for this left-hander. It's all dry around here now. Then it's hard on the gas. You saw the black line coming out from the back of Hayden's bike then. Now then, the 4-cylinder bikes are using 2 more gears along here, whereas the Ducatis are stretching 1 gear all the way between Mansfield and the mountain section. 2nd gear now, up and over the hill. Bit of aviation, trying to get the power down as soon as you can. Looks like a runway just there where all the black lines are from the landing motorcycles. Through Hall Bends now. Look how wide that dry line is. It's about a foot wide into the treacherous bottom gear right-hander of the hairpin. 30 miles an hour probably, even when it's this wet. Barn Corner, it's been modified. It is a lot safer. Still not brilliant, but it is a lot safer. Onto the front straight now. They get a big trajectory down onto the front straight. No more adverse camber hitting this front straight. We're on board with Plater chasing Hayden. Coppice corner, this is the left-hander where I think we saw John Crawford go off a little earlier on. There they are then. That's our cameraman, 22, Steve Plater, had a chain jump off and had to rejoin the race in 18th place in race number 1 after he refitted the chain. Who needs mechanics?
And certainly the pace he's got in this race, it's a real pity for him. He didn't get an opportunity to shine in that first leg. Yeah,
he's going brilliantly well, and it couldn't happen to a nicer bloke over Steve Plater. I can listen to his laugh all day long. So there we are then, looking down on the 3rd and 4th place battle. Meanwhile, at the front, of course, it is still... Yes. Oh, there's a nice little interesting one. Of course, we're going to see a faster lap every single lap because it's getting drier. 1:27.7 from Steve Plater, which just indicates his pace at the moment. He looks a bit frustrated to get past Hayden as well. Yes, like you said, every corner they arrive at is going to be drier than it was in the previous lap. So it's going to be a certain element of bravery included in this race. Well, certainly Steve Plater lives at Woodhall Spa just up the road. He's not as old as me. We used to do cut all our teeth at Cadwell Park. It used to be the track in the old days of club and national circuit. But you young blokes nowadays hardly ever visit here. Yeah, it's way out there in the wilds. I've only been there a few times myself. Yeah, what a great track though. Superb. Let's take another look then. Walker. Oh, here comes Walker at the bottom of the mountain. Oh, he got some drive there, boy. Yeah, you can see just how much his chain's flapping around there, so you can begin to understand how Steve Plater's came off in the first leg. John Reynolds then has been playing catch-up back in 6th place, but he is absolutely flying around this track now. We've seen him here before. He must be mad. He didn't really make a great start. John Reynolds the fastest lap, 1:27.091. So Reynolds is on a charge here at Cadwell Park. Yeah, he's absolutely flying, but you see how smooth he looked. He hasn't got to worry about racing with anybody else. He's just racing with the track, so keep it smooth, give the tyres an easy time and set these fast laps. Chris Walker leads Hodgson and Hayden. Lap 9 of round 9. This is race 2. The Superbikes are go, and it's Chris Walker and Hodgson hounding him down as he leads this race from the flag. But I've got to say, look at Hodgson getting drive there. Again, he proved in race 1 today that Ducati is more than equal to the National Tyre Suzuki when it comes out of Charlie's corner. Great drive there. The Ducati just grunts away out of that 3rd gear corner onto the back straight, and he drove past the slip sliding away Chris Walker. Walker made a mistake in race 1 to give it to Hodgson. I didn't see any mistake from him there, though. No, there wasn't. It's just the Ducati started to hook up a little bit better in these slippery conditions, so I think Walker was being a little bit nervous with the throttle, but it's to be expected in this weather. So Hodgson hits the front then, and Chris Walker now, as he did in race 1, Walker is once again the stalker. That's what they call him. Hard to believe considering, as we look at Hayden in 3rd place still, and Steve Plater still there. So the local man, Steve Plater, riding the Team Kawasaki to great effect. Look at the crowd, they love this. I went and talked to a few of them. They were definitely Hodgson fans on that corner when we wandered down there to do some filming earlier. Number 4 is still Hodgson. Oh, Hodgie out of control. Talk us through that, Scott. He just came flying over there. It's a blind rise. He's going to be braking really heavily into hairpin. The bike's gone really light, and it's all gone sideways. Still James Hayden chasing these two at the moment. Look at Walker getting great drive again down on the front straight. And tell us how he passed Walker here, Scott. Well, this is driving out onto the back straight. You can see the back suspension of Walker's bike compressing. It doesn't look like he shut the throttle or lifted off, but Hodgson just had a little bit more speed on the exit, and the Ducati does seem to be quicker on the back straight. So pretty similar to the overtaking the first one. And there you go again. You can see where the bike's gone light. The back end just hasn't got enough grip, and it's over into the damp, so that would have been a pretty hairy moment. I think Hodgson knows that he needs to get away. In the first race, he got past and he wanted to try and make a break, so he was just trying extremely hard to get away from Walker, and it just isn't happening. You can say that again, it's not likely to either. There is John Reynolds. John Reynolds had the fastest lap just a few moments ago. We're on lap 11 of the 17 now. There surely is not enough time for John Reynolds to get in touch with the leaders, that's for sure. So he's got plenty of chasing to do. And he's got a few backmarks to get past, and of course he's got Steve Plater to get past as well. Up the inside there, shove it in. Oh, that was nice and neatly done, I've got to say. Here comes Reynolds. Oh, Plater's through. I tell you what, he's closing on Plater. We've just gone past 12. That's Paul Jones. So Jonesy having a good ride round here at the moment, but not in the same class as these boys at the minute. So Reynolds, look at the look on his face. Yeah, that's an intense look. He knows exactly what he's got to do. His pit bull will be telling him how far in front the other riders are. So he's just focusing on achieving it. He's got 4 riders in front of him. The first of them is Plater on bike 22 to catch. The next one is his teammate James Hayden, who was a faller in race 1 at Park, but certainly seems to have well, taking it slightly easier here. He's in a podium position at the minute if Plater there on bike 22 doesn't catch him. But meanwhile, oh, look at the drive that Walker had there right out to the white line. Talk about commitment. I think he just turns that Suzuki on flat, and it still doesn't quite drive enough out of that turn, you know. I don't reckon he's slow on getting the throttle on there.
No, it looks like he's winding up as much out of that bike as possible. As we said before, it works well out the slow corners, but out those fast corners, it's just not quite as good as the Ducati.
God, John Reynolds' times from my monitor here, he is absolutely flying around this track at the moment. You've said it already, he's got fresh air, and we know John Reynolds doesn't need someone to pace him. He can just go at it. But in these conditions, the times that he's doing are